Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Safeword. Bum, 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 bum. Sound effects coming soon. So this is our platform for teaching, learning, and introducing our audience to the world of kink and BDSM. I am your co-host, Kane Marcos.
And I am your host, Aurora Storm.
And I'm your Miss Co-host, Sasha Lyncher.
And as you can see, we are short a host tonight. Mr. Remy is not with us, but that's okay because we're going to have a lot of fun with just us. So this is the first Friday in March, which is Women's History Month.
Yes.
So if you watched our last video, then you know we are going to talk about all of the amazing female pioneers in the kink and BDSM communities, as well as the history of, what's our page about? Sex.
Yeah. That's sex appeal.
So if you're watching this, like and subscribe, and that video will be linked in the description below.
And we had a background malfunction.
You know,
go ahead.
That's why I wore yellow. And
better a background malfunction than a wardrobe malfunction.
Right, exactly.
As soon as my part was coming up, that's when it happened because they knew I was going to do it.
Right.
So if you guys could go ahead and follow and like, so you guys can stay up to date on all your kinky news.
Exactly. All right, Mr. King. He's trying to pull it together. So if you watch our show, we are Safeword. And here at Safeword, we have a safe word of the day. We use this safe word to stop, halt, and completely put a pause on all topic of conversation, because that's what a safe word's for. You know, you say it and it stops. So, crew, would we like to tell everyone what the safe word of today is? Ready?
I'm actually good.
2, 3.
Femme. I like how you let me go first. That's awesome.
Well, and it's femme, not just because it's Women's History Month, but femme also goes along with the BDSM community. You can be a femdom, which is a female dominatrix. So our word of the day is femme. So if you're saying the word and no one's stopping, we have a signal that we use here because we have some audio issues with Zoom. So if you're saying the word, no one's stopping, throw up the signal so that everybody knows to stop. Do we want to show them what the signal is? Ready? 1, 2, and a 3. Okay, so if you see that signal, everyone needs to pause. Halt. That shouldn't be too hard because
period.
But so everybody can just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And then you say the safe word so everybody knows what it is. All right, which is femme.
All right.
Mr. King, do you have hot topics for us today?
Actually, I don't. But I did find some stuff that was pretty interesting. There's not a whole lot in hot topics going on right now, so not a whole lot of kink news out there. That's, kind of relatable. A lot of it is centered around how to introduce yourself into the BDSM community and dealing with the Marilyn Manson allegations. So outside of that, there's not a whole lot going on.
Oh my goodness.
But you said you have something for us, yeah?
Yeah, I do, actually. In keeping with Women's History Month, let's go ahead and just slam some famous male celebrity figures who had some kinks that they were closeted about.
Yes, I love it. All right, let's do it.
All right, so keep in mind, everybody, that this is based on an internet source. I do not take credibility for any of this. So if you disagree, don't like, or otherwise hate the information that we're about to provide, don't shoot the messenger. I found it somewhere and I thought it was funny, so we're sharing it tonight. All right.
We'll add the link below so you guys can go
research.
Right,
we'll put the link in the box below so you can go confirm and, contradict yourself, whatever.
Like Kate said, don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly. Mr. Kane, bring us the message.
Yeah, I need y'all to take that up with ranker.com. So, according to ranker.com, not my own personal research or, valid personal opinions, Gandhi liked sleeping naked with all kinds of women.
Ooh, hey now.
So
what, like he would just randomly lay down? Like just be like, hey, I just want to lay down.
You know what? Personally, I can't think of a better way to sleep either. So,
I guess it's very freeing.
Yeah.
So that's not like huge, but Gandhi like sleeping nude with like strange women? Is there more to the story?
Just all kinds of women. So I mean, like strange would be a kind of woman. So yeah, I'd say, you know, just some strange women, random women.
So for Gandhi being like a purist and not wanting to overindulge, like that's super intimate when you lay with somebody and just be naked. So I can see why that's super stimulating.
Man didn't overindulge in food, so he wasn't gluttonous, but he was lustful. So I mean,
there we go.
That wasn't necessarily his message.
Kink is alive and well, even in the past. Go ahead.
In all forms.
Hey, so when he said he wasn't going to eat for like 40 days, do you think he was like not eating anything?
Well, I don't know. He's laying nude with random women, so I mean,
like that kind of makes it
sustenance somehow.
That makes it a bit easier to fast. I'm just saying.
Have to get your sustenance somehow.
Man, that's one way to get through Lent.
Yes, exactly.
Working miracles and feeding multitudes, honey.
So, other famous celebrities, and you know, kind of playing it fast and loose with the famous and the celebrity part. Ernest Hemingway was into role play. So
okay, I can see that.
A lot of people ain't really going to know who Ernest Hemingway is, but if anything, you should know that he was an author. So he liked creating his own world, writing stories. So it would make sense that the man was into some role play type stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty on par.
I think most artists are
in the role play. Yeah, for real. Most artists are. Yeah.
Right.
My personal favorite throughout all of this, like easily in the top 3, H.G. Wells. Right. So if I can remember correctly, he was the one who did War of the Worlds.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he enjoyed having sex on top of his bad reviews.
Fuck him.
Right. Right.
Fuck the mic drop. Mic drop. This early in the
that
day.
Man was taking his power back before it was cool. So
you better speak, King.
That shit. I read that and I was like, that's not even a kink. Don't kink shame that at all. That is fucking awesome.
That's awesome. Fuck my bad reviews. Watch, literally.
Like, just go ahead and have sex on top of your bills and tell me it doesn't make you feel just a little bit better.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Right, exactly.
And you'd be like, but you're gonna be past due on this ass, yeah.
You hear her saying, "Oh God," so I can't get out there.
So that one just had me chuckling for a good solid minute.
Roy said that he also wrote Time Machine.
Yes.
Oh yes, he did. You're right.
Yes.
So, always.
Hi, Roy. We forgot to say hi.
Hey, Roy.
Right. The facts.
He's able to comment today. Awesome.
Yes.
A1 since day one. Y'all need to get on Roy's level. Come on, y'all need to like and subscribe.
For real. Like, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell them to subscribe too, okay?
Can I add something funny that I saw on Reddit today?
Go for it.
Sure, yeah.
So the title of the Reddit thread was, "No, my titties are not a compliment, nor are they a topic of conversation." So the person who had made that title, it was a screenshot of their conversation, and it must have been on a dating app or an inbox. So "You're beautiful" is how it starts. And then it's, "You have great tits. With all due respect, that's a compliment. Oh, you must be bipolar, or you must have dissociative disorder." And she hadn't responded to any of those. So she just screenshotted it and posted it. Like, no, it's not a compliment or like a conversation. And I only say that because it's like, as women in Women's Month, like, yeah, like even if I was to post a picture just like this, you don't know how many complimentary raunchy titty comments I will get.
Right.
So it's like, thank you, but this is my body to show. Right. It's not for you, honey, because I look great. But, you know, almighty power of the tatas.
So, Mr. Kim, was that it on the hot? You have more, right? I know you got more.
I had a couple more.
Oh,
that's
sorry,
perfect, because like we are talking about all women today, so that's why he's bringing up the men.
I know. I heard boobs. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, it was perfect, perfect little add-on.
So just wrapping it up, this one was easily number 2 on this list. Benjamin Franklin was into older women.
Okay.
So this kind of caught my curiosity a little bit, just because like back in the 1800s, you know, like just how older of women was like, are we talking? Because life expectancy wasn't much beyond.
Yeah, that's very true. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, women didn't get too old back then. Like, so what are we talking about? Like a 40-year-old?
Right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Right. Maybe it's like she's mature enough in her prime, so she won't.
Right.
Like that dude was onto something, because yeah, she wasn't like, older women were in their prime. So he was like, oh, well, I'm not, like everybody else is going, I'm taking home a 14-year-old, or I'm like this 16-year-old.
Right. Well, women's sex drive.
35-year-olds where it's at, guys.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Sex drive goes up the older we get.
There's no lies being told in that consensus at all. No lies being told. You didn't hear that from me.
She didn't hear that from me. All right, who else we got, King?
I think I'm going to wrap it up at that one, because I know we have a lot of women to talk about tonight, and I don't want to take the spotlight. So
you're such a gentleman. Look at you.
I know. Look at you.
I have to. I'm so fucking outnumbered. It's not even funny.
He's feeling outnumbered tonight. Remy, see where you at? Where you at, Remy?
You guys got him in a dungeon somewhere, so you guys can pick on me.
He's probably watching this, just like See,
they talk about
we told him it was Women's History Month, and he's like, oh, I'm busy.
Right.
I'm booked and busy because it's Women's History Month. You know how they feel about a plan.
Right.
That's something he was.
Right, exactly. Miss Saja, you want to take us into the next section for
his ass being in the not sexiest city in America.
So today we are going to talk about powerful women and the influence these women have had in history. There is certainly no shortage of them. They're powerful women, and from the goddess in many religions, and blah, 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 blah. And there are powerful women in the form of goddesses in many religions around the world.
I swear we have rehearsal. I swear we do.
Yeah, I get tongue-tied. You know how we played that game and like no one could understand what I was saying?
Yeah.
So it's a real thing.
I told you that fucking game was rigged.
My tongue is so Aphrodite. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. Right. We're gonna talk about Aphrodite.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Aphrodite, girl. Who's Aphrodite?
So
let's go there.
The mighty Miss Aphrodite was the Greek goddess of love and sexuality, and at her temple in Corinth, revelers. I told you my tongue keeps getting in the way. Revelers often pay tribute by having crazy sex with her temple priestess. With her temple priestesses.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. In the root of the word,
it's the root of the word aphrodisiac. Yes.
Yes. I don't have my glasses on and I can read. I promise you.
I promise. That was fucking cute though. Because look, guys, we're bringing you info that we have researched.
So between my tongue and my glasses, I apologize.
She's like, I'm still cute though.
Right. In all,
you picked the wrong night to not have your glasses.
Right.
She is the goddess of sex and fertility, and she embodies that, and she made sure it was known. She had sex. She wrangled them in and had sex with them, y'all, and it wasn't secret.
She's the creator of all of that. I mean, yes. I know that Kane has a bigger knowledge on Greek mythology than I do.
Definitely.
So why don't you give us some tidbits? I know you know some stuff.
You got some stories.
So as much as I remember about Aphrodite, she was said to be one of the most beautiful of goddesses. Now, in Greek mythology, it's like so well known of every single fucking problem that happened in Greek mythology was Zeus not being able to keep it in his toga, and Hera getting pissed off because Zeus couldn't keep it in his toga.
Yeah.
She's a smart lady. I see where this is going.
So Aphrodite was said to be one of the most beautiful of goddesses. She was the goddess of love and sexuality. So they built altars, built temples. The temples were I don't know how you would say, like caretaked, was looked after by temple priestesses. And instead of offering slaughtered goats like they would tribute to Zeus, and instead of offering flowers and beautiful wreaths like they did to Hera, the way that they offered tribute was to go have wild sex with their priestesses in the temple. That was said to be the greatest tribute to Aphrodite.
So see, Kink has been around for a very long time, and the women have ushered it in.
Pretty much.
In Rome and Italy, and Rome and Greek and like Sparta, all of them places, holy shit, were they like just in tune with sexuality.
Right. Okay, so I've got one for you.
What's up?
Bilquis. Okay, now if you guys watch American Gods, you've seen, you know, a version of Bilquis on American Gods, but that is like a totally different take on her, actually. So I'm going to read something that I found, and it's just kind of, you know, a brief synopsis on her, but I found it really interesting. So she was the Queen of Sheba and appears as a powerful and mysterious ruler in the Hebrew Bible and in the Muslim Quran. Okay, as well as early Turkish and Persian paintings and medieval Christian works. Her actual existence is debated, and nobody is quite sure where Sheba was located. But for the past 3,000 years, her legend has been told across the world, especially in Ethiopia. So she's also in the Bible. So like naturally different religions and cultures tell different stories of the Queen of Sheba. In the Old Testament, there's a story of her visiting King Solomon in Jerusalem. King Solomon gave unto the Queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, besides that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. And
that
so
sounds like a sugar daddy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like, So like the name Bilquis, right, comes from an Islamic tradition. It says the ancient kingdom of Shaba is thought to have been located in present day Yemen. So if you guys know where all this area is, Africa. Okay. So like Ethiopia, you know, all that area was the name that was given to the Queen of Sheba in later stories, because that's where it was located. So Brian Fuller, though, a showrunner for American Gods, has actually adapted her from the novel American Gods and put her as more of a main character. But the whole thing about her, so like if you watch American Gods, Bilquis absorbs the life force of her victims, the men she sleeps with, women she sleeps with. At climax, she takes them into her through her vaginal opening, you know, just sucks them right in. So they were asking like
Women's
the whole
history.
thing with her absorbing her partners as they climax appears to be a part of like the guy that wrote this version of her, his own creation. It wasn't something that she ever really did. So like that's something that's completely side noted and adapted and like added on. So I thought that was kind of cool, because like even if you watch that show, it's pretty popular right now. I was trying to figure out who exactly she was, you know, in the timeline. Yeah. So yeah, pretty interesting. So that's one of my tips.
Queen of Sheba.
Yeah. Well, and in the show, she's very sexual. That's what drives her. But I mean, that's still what she was, you know, as a goddess. Anyway, she drove the whole sexuality thing. You know, people prayed to her for good, intimate relationships and things like that. So yeah, kind of interesting that we prayed to women for good sex.
And this stuff makes for such deeper conversations. So I'm like,
right, exactly. And we're going to take this deeper. Like, so guys, paying attention, because we're going to be doing some pop-ups, and we're taking this women's thing all throughout the month. So,
and the best part is I won't be there.
He's like, I don't have to talk about this.
Yes, you will.
I'll be there for a few. There's a couple of women that I actually really want to talk about. And one of my personal favorites, if I can, was the Valkyrie.
Okay.
So the Valkyrie are just completely kick-ass. I mean, they really lost a lot of like their luster over time when everybody kind of like conceptualized them and, for lack of a better word, dumbed them down to what they were originally known for. So a Valkyrie was actually like, and to like compare it would be like an angel in heaven. That's how everybody made the comparison, except the Valkyrie were actually female warriors chosen by Odin, and they would actually visit they were said to visit the battlefield and set plans for the slain. So whoever fell in battle, and they were the ones who got to choose who got to come to Valhalla based on their skills, or, you know, their just battle tactics, their fighting, their warrior skills. You know, if you were worthy enough, then you got to go to Valhalla and dine at Odin's table. If not, then you just got left in the damn field.
Right.
So
And
there
you
wasn't a
got some
heaven or
stuff
hell. Heaven was dining at Odin's table.
Right,
So,
exactly. So badasses. And I know you got
Right.
some stuff to add on that. Don't you, Sasha, about the Valkyrie?
I just find it I find it so, I guess, I find it really cool that a lot of the concepts of like ancient Greek and mythology are still very present today.
Right.
I think we just missed the concept. A lot of that era was about reverencing women, and they were amazing, and they did have power, and men fought for that power, and they made sure that they treated these women in their power of its worth. Mm-hmm. So I just find it like so amazing how just I think it's not highlighted enough how much our whole society is based on that. It's just evolved so much like further.
Right.
So
exactly.
Just, yeah.
So like we were taking it way far back with some of these, mm-hmm. You know, goddesses. And I mean, but we're going to take it a little bit further, but we're going to kind of just go through some of these real quick and just touch on them because like,
Just
I mean, yeah, because I mean, there's some modern girls that I want to get to as well. So, I mean, the next chick I have, and I'm just going to do a very quick rundown. Like you guys should know who Hera is, you know, Zeus's wife. She was jealous and, you know, would go after his kids that he'd have with other women and the whole nine. But sometimes
not even women.
Right. No, sometimes not even women. Exactly. Zeus was
stay out my man's way.
Zeus was loose.
Hide your pets, had your wives, had your brothers.
Right. Had your dog. Like it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So anyways, Hera was a Greek goddess, but she was the Greek goddess of marriage. So people would go to her temple and, you know, lay down bounties and things like that for a good marriage and for good intimacy and relationships and things like that. So, I mean, you know, there are goddesses that we prayed to way back in the day that like helped with all of these things. And it wasn't so freaking taboo. So like, what the heck?
Right. And it's like, just to piggyback off of that, and it's not a lost concept and it's not a lost form. I just think we forget when you come to certain people for certain things. It's just not, we've gotten so far away from that in our society. It's like, no, people, they still exist. That's why we have life coaches. That's why we have marital counselors and all those things. So it's like, this is spiritual coach, sexual coaches, you know, therapists, sexual therapists, you know, it's been back in the day and they knew you had to play. You just like you pay for your therapist, you got to come and bring these amazing people gifts. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing, you know, give people their flowers while they can smell them. So that was so cool.
Right.
Does it say something that the goddess of sex and the goddess of marriage were two separate deities?
Yes, actually,
yes.
With Greek mythology, there definitely is. Eros was a man, is a god, and he was the god of sex. But Hera was the one that was the goddess for intimacy and a strong relationship. So it was separate. It was completely separate. Like if you wanted to have a good bang section, you prayed to Eros. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So
you wanted to have a good intimate relationship.
I'm just relating it to like religion as we know it today. That'd be like putting on, like, depending on how you're going out or what you're looking for, it's like putting on a different cross or religious symbol depending on what you're looking for that night. And it's like, oh, I'm like, it's Friday night, going to the club, about to get that Eros pendant on.
So we got a commenter, Chavis. He says, I need to go to this temple.
It's still there.
Right, exactly. It's still there.
And it's got all the original priestesses. You're gonna love
that. Won't be down in the description box below. That won't be there. Well,
it's in Corinth.
All right, so Sasha, I know you got another one for us. You want to hit us with Freya?
Yes, we do. We have Miss Freya. Okay, I'm lost, guys.
You want me to take it for you?
Can I do Cleopatra?
Sure, yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'll take Freya real quick. Freya was
Go ahead.
The wife of Odin. She was the most ultimate goddess, right? She was revered as the goddess of fertility and marriage. So kind of like Hera, you know what I'm saying? She's the wife of Odin. Hera was the wife of Zeus. So two different types of mythology. But she was the only one besides Odin who could sit at the throne. So like, you know, that's women fighting for them equal rights and, you know, being a ball in it. No, okay, so anyways.
Important to note that the reason why she was the only other person who could sit on Odin's throne, because the freaking thing was rigged to kill anybody else besides Odin and her who sat in it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But and Odin wasn't as I don't know, but I don't think Odin was as much of a loose character as Zeus.
So what I'm noticing amongst all of these mythological relationships and marriages, that there's a strong sense of sexuality, and that's mine, and you can't have it.
Right, exactly.
So as much as a lot of points are made about polygamy and stuff like that, it sounds like all of the goddesses wasn't having it.
Right.
Having it and not having it at the same time.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, for real.
And that's a segue even to Miss Cleopatra. She was low-key a side piece, but she was like one of the baddest ones ever.
Hold on, we're gonna get to her in just a second.
Yes,
so I want to talk about one more person, which is Kali. Okay. And she's from the Hindu culture. Okay. She was known as the destroyer, or the one who liberated the souls and provided enlightenment. She was often depicted as a fierce and angry goddess with garlands of skull, a knife, and a bowl in her many hands. So if you've ever seen that one like picture of like the goddess with all the hands and she's stepping on this dead body, and she's standing on it. There's actually a story that goes along with it. I found it really interesting because Kali is very much tied in with Tantra. Like the reason that there's Tantra and this, you know, the whole practice, okay, is because there's a tantric meditation, and Kali and her lover are part of that, with you finding your consciousness and unconsciousness being, you know. So Kali's kind of the person that brought in Tantra, honestly, because you get to a tantric position within your meditation. That is also something that we'll be talking about on here. I'm not going to go too deep, but it's a type of meditative sexual experience. You can do it without touching. There's no touching involved. So
if you cried, you probably did it before, but I ain't gonna say that though.
Right, exactly. So
it's actually really quick. It's actually really interesting. There's different levels of meditative states in the Hindu religion and culture. So Tantra is, a lot of everybody associates Tantra with tantric sex.
Right, and they're different.
But Tantra isn't exactly sexually based in nature. Tantra was a concept of energy exchange. And so the idea behind tantric sex is not so much sex without physical contact, but just feeling a deeper meaning, having the intimacy maxed out. And so Tantra was, go ahead.
No. I was like, don't give too much because we're going to touch on this later. That's why I was just giving a little.
Just trying to hold my question because I had a question. So I'm going to be quiet.
But no, that's basically what it is. So, I mean, you know, I didn't go into a deep dive on it. And I'm glad that you kind of touched on it.
Whoops.
No, it's okay. But the other piece of that is that within Tantra, the man and the woman can't, you know, work without each other, and they're equals. There's no like, here's a dominant partner. Here's, you know, there's none of that. You guys are equal.
When you're tapped in.
Right. And so I'll go into explaining a lot more of this in a deeper conversation. Season 2, watch season 2. We're going to be talking about Tantra. Okay.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
That was really cool that it brought it back to this goddess, and like, you know, modern times has connected it to Kali. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool. So, we're going to step into some other leaders. Okay. So like these women made history by ruling and serving as icons during time periods that women were thought of as less than their male counterparts. So this was perfect segue. But despite the stigmatization, were able to achieve new and glorious heights. So Kane, I want you to take Helen of Troy for me.
Okay, so Helen of Troy is actually a really interesting concept. I really like Helen of Troy. What initially drew me to this person wasn't even her backstory or her actual story, but was actually Christopher Marlowe was a playwright back in like Shakespeare's day. He wrote a play called The Tragedy of Faustus. And in it, he meets with, you know, certain historical figures. And so he wanted to meet Helen of Troy because she was said to be this beautiful woman. And he's when he sees her, he says, "This is the face that launched 1,000 ships." So the backstory of Helen of Troy is she was originally the Helen of Sparta. She was wife to the king of Sparta. Okay. And if you've seen the movie Troy, you kind of get the concept.
Right. Yeah.
The Trojans were trying to make peace, trying to use them as allies. When the Trojan emissaries, which were actually the princes, went over, Prince Paris actually seduced Helen, and she ended up fleeing Sparta with him and returning to Troy.
Oh, snap.
So if you can remember, you know, 300 and everything, that Spartans weren't exactly one to take, you know, any kind of inconsiderate matter slightly.
Right.
And, you know, stealing somebody's wife was, you know, probably more of a capital offense.
Yeah.
So yes, that is what happened. The king of Sparta said, "I'm going to go get my wife back," loaded every troop he had on every ship he had, and set sail. So 1,000 ships.
Wow.
Give or take.
That's crazy.
So beautiful woman. She actually was not, you know, in Troy for very long because her mad ex-boo came up and filled a wooden horse with a bunch of soldiers, and the rest is just history.
Okay, but so yeah, that piece of I know. That's crazy. I didn't know the whole beginning of that.
So I really enjoy Helen of Troy's story just for the idea that it was one of the first times where you can actually see a woman making a conscious choice to move towards a better life. So without actually knowing any of the context details, women don't leave for nothing.
Right.
So something was going on. The politics of marriage and adultery were definitely different back then. So hey, she wasn't happy. She left. She went for a better life, and she just so happened to leave one of the angriest warlords in known history.
Damn, that's crazy. So go ahead, Sasha. Take Miss Cleopatra for us.
I'm very excited.
I know you are. I researched her too, so I was like, oh, this is fucking interesting. So
it's one of my icons, like one of my icons, and she was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And she knew how to use her sexuality to attain what she wanted. And she presented herself as a mistress to Caesar and also as the lower to Caesar's prized general.
Yeah.
Oh, the lover, not lower, the lover to Caesar's most prized general, Mark Antony. So she was like, I am his side piece. Like, I'm here, very much so here. Yeah. And y'all gonna answer to me. So she was like the bottom.
For real. And she used her seductive ways to gain power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like when I was doing the research on her, just to find out that like, okay, because Mark Antony wrote that she was just beauty beyond measure, right?
Right.
And then they've been doing 3D renderings of her face from like her skull structure and the coins that she had minted for herself, and then comparing it to the coins that were minted that Mark Antony did, with Mark Antony on one side and her on the other. And so these 3D renderings, guys, got to look it up on YouTube because it's hilarious. Like, I'm talking not a nose, I'm talking a freaking full-on beak, just like beak. And like her eyes were way out here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, so they got that from the, skull structure. That's how they figure out what dinosaurs look like, And so then it was funny because Mark Antony wrote that thing about her being gorgeous and just seductive. And, she just takes everyone's breath away. And then another historian came in, or another explorer came in and wrote, well, she's not anything to write home about. I was like, that's bad.
That's funny you say that. I took that in one of two ways. Either he was salty because she wasn't messing with him and she dissed him, or maybe her profile just wasn't doing her no justice, and maybe you could only do mints on the profile, but straight on she was everything. Right. Or she was just a beauty inside.
Right. I think she was just a beauty inside.
No, okay. Hold up. You have to remember this is also from a time period where, so Mark Antony and Caesar were from Greece.
Right.
You can only see so many Greece women for so long before anything else, any other. I mean, you think about Egyptians and don't think about what Hollywood portrays Egyptians as.
No, they have.
They were not light skinned at all. They were very, very dark complected. So I think that ought to like an exotic side to Cleopatra. So I mean, just something different, something that they didn't see every day. That was definitely going to catch their eye, get their attention. And then probably the fact that she ruled over an entire country that was bigger than anything that they had at the time.
And she put herself in that position. Like her story is crazy.
And most of the time she's depicted, it seems like she's always a little bit more tanner than other people too, unless I'm tripping.
No. I mean, she was the shit. Like that's just point blank period. Like she was very persuasive. She could use her seductive nature to get what she wanted, and she freaking did it. She didn't care who she ran over to do it either. You know what I'm saying?
She claimed it. She was like, that's my man. I don't care.
She went out like a fucking G.
She did. She went out like a G. I'm not even for real. For real.
She's definitely a lady after my own heart. Sorry, I got super excited for her.
All right, so we touched on some of those. Joan of Arc is on our list also. So I'll just say that she was a peasant girl who who believed that God had chosen her to lead France to victory, and it's a long war with England. Her heroics led her to be sainted and revered in history. So, I mean, there's some really prominent women. Some of them helped out with the, sexual liberation, and others just helped women get ahead in life, pave a way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or some of them were so amazing, they had people lose their lives over her.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, still, despite all of this, we've got some women to talk about of today and 60s, 40s, and then we'll move into today. So, Miss, we can't keep going without talking about Miss Betty Page. I'm sorry.
I know.
Right?
We have to.
Like, if you guys don't know who Betty Page is, like, what rock have you been sleeping underneath? I mean, okay, Betty Page was the queen.
It's called Utah.
Right. She was the queen of pinups. She was the queen of pinups. Okay. People that emulate her, that do pinup now emulate her. Like, what is that chick's name?
Elvira?
No. Who am I thinking of? Oh God. It'll come to me. White girl.
Prominent women in history.
No, right. no. This is modern times. Like
Dita Von Teese.
Yes,
Dita Von Teese, even Kat Von D, anything that's that gothy, blunt bang, very lingerie, burlesque. You get very much so class and grace and sex appeal.
Yeah, she says Betty Page is her icon, and that's who she emulates. So she was the queen of pinups. She was American pinup model in the 1950s. Playboy's Miss January in 1955, and also considered the first famous bondage model for her fetish and sadomasochist modeling exploits. So like she was like anytime you see a black and white photo of a woman holding a whip, bet you it's Betty Page.
Yeah.
Or Mae West.
Yeah. Right. Or Mae West. Exactly. Yeah. So do you want to take the next one, Miss Sasha?
Oh, I can. We have Miss Bonnie Haplin. She's our first Playboy bunny, and Hugh Hefner himself coined her this title as the first Playboy bunny.
So she was the first official hello, I am the Playboy bunny.
Right, and it sounds like there have been plenty of women who have posed for the syndication before, but he was like, no, you're it. You have set the bar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. These women have paved the way for it to be okay from back in the 1800s where you showed an ankle and it was like, oh my gosh, to where okay, women are posing nude and they're doing it of their own choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just to remind everybody, when Playboy was released, okay, so that's in the 1900s. So that's less than 100 years ago, right? And think about just all the history behind that. Yeah. When Playboy first came out, they were still stoning women in other parts of the world.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Oh, yes. Not here.
Not that hasn't been I don't think that was ever a practice here.
Right. I was like, wait a second,
but
here?
Just like in other parts of the world for less, like you said, showing an ankle, showing their face, showing, any of their intimate parts, that was punishable by stoning. And over here, we were printing magazines about it.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's crazy. But if you think about it to this day, where there's still those practices going on in other parts of the world, and we have Pornhub, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, there's definitely parts of the world that are still very not open, closed-minded.
Yeah.
Narrow.
I bet if they get caught watching Pornhub in some of those countries, they probably.
We talked about it last week. They are.
Exactly.
They got some of the biggest search histories.
Thailand, yeah, it's just
it's
the highest search. Like they. Go watch that other episode.
Go watch that other live. You know,
Iraq and Syria have the highest Pornhub like just logins.
It's crazy. That is just so crazy to me. Okay, so Mr. K, would you take Miss Mae West for me?
Right.
Yeah. So Mae West was born in 1893 in Brooklyn, New York. She was like a comedian at the time and an actress. But one of the things that I liked about her is that she was everyone thinks, you know, like the first female to celebrate her sexuality and be out in the open with it. You know, everyone goes like, oh, Marilyn Monroe. No, that's like 60s, 70s. Mae West was back in the 20s, and she did it better than Marilyn Monroe ever did. Yeah. So she was open with her sexuality. She assumed roles in films and in life that just weren't friggin' okay for the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
the pioneer.
Yeah. So just, you know, at the time it was still very like, oh, it was still that wife needs to stay at home and have the 1.5 kids and be in the kitchen, you know, like they were still producing these ads, you know, like that wouldn't be published today. And I know everybody's seen them because they come up on Facebook and social media all the time. You know, you got ads of like women in like crying with their aprons on and everything, and their husbands holding them saying, don't worry, honey, you didn't burn the beer. All right. So now imagine had that commercial or that ad been like, hey, Mae West, would you like to post for this? That would have been a big fuck you. And so Mae West was definitely a powerful woman for her time because she did it and she was still successful afterwards. Nowadays, you do something wrong, I mean, cancel culture and everything else the way it is, they would have definitely canceled her for sure. And blackballed her. She never would have worked again because she refused to be submissive. So
thank God,
Miss Mae West.
Right. Thank God for these women, because it wouldn't have people if some of these women weren't strong enough to step outside of themselves and go, hey, I'm kinky. Ready?
Exactly.
Kinky.
It's like,
no, I'm not gonna apologize. Like, you know, exactly. So Sasha, I know you have some modern day icons that you want to bring up real quick.
I did.
Move into the game.
So I like Miss Beyonce. I don't know if anyone else likes Miss Beyonce here.
The whole beehive, so.
Now, welcome to the hive. Yes, all hail Queen Bee. But I think a lot of people see her persona and they don't, and they don't.
I'm waiting for it to rip it down.
And no one looks at Queen Bee as a sexual creature. She's very much so respected. Get it together, Brother King.
I know, right? Fem.
She's respected in such a high regard. I think a lot of people fail to realize that in her lyrics that she's very much so eloquently telling you she kinky.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
So
Wait, don't move into that yet. Don't move into that yet.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't move into that yet. But I just wanted to talk about some modern icons. So we've got Beyonce. We have Beyonce. You mentioned Meg Thee Stallion in your video.
Yes. Let Meg Thee Stallion. We have Cardi B. We have women like Mulatto.
Why did we even bring up Cardi? Maybe because she just dropped like what? And you know, people were going wild for that. But I mean, here's a good question. Here's a question. Who did it better? Cardi B or Lil' Kim? Or Foxy?
They all did it in different ways, different levels of thugging, and because they made it like, I'm a woman. I like to get my money. I like to do the same things the boys do, and I like the same things they talk about done to me. And this is what it is. Like, you guys work like just like back in the Greece times, and back then, you better come bring in an offering if you want some of this rock. Give me everything.
Come to worship, and then
we were just talking about that. I mean, there's no difference. It's the same thing. So it's so amazing that these women have taken their power back, you know, with the Cardi B's, with the Meg Thee Stallions, the Mulatto. And sometimes it comes out vulgar because there's no real eloquent way. You know, the archaic times of talking we're blunt and direct with it. This is what it is.
and women should be able to do that without it being seen as something that's obscene and
right.
I mean, men have been doing it for forever. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, even the Reddit comment that I was talking about, we get this all the time. So why can't I take my power back? Okay, you think they're great, they are. So
well, and here's somebody else that's really good for like opening up those pathways or those, you know, trailblazers. So, to call them something, label them something. Rihanna, because I mean, she did the S&M freaking
right,
like a song that is right up her alley, you know.
She's always been one to embrace her sexuality. Once she started making herself more of an independent artist and taking herself on creatively, she's like, no, I want to show my fans all of me. I embrace my body. I embrace,
sexuality. It shouldn't be something that's taboo. It's just shouldn't. Hello.
Right. If you think somebody like, I just embrace it. She's made it a celebration of all shapes, facets, and sizes. Yeah, you are a queen, you are a goddess, and everything about you needs to be praised and worshipped, just like it was from the beginning of time. All hail Mother Earth, and it dwells inside of all of us. So you better praise these goddesses.
What the hell am I doing here?
No, actually.
I mean, every dom has a goddess he worships. Yep, I think everybody submits to somebody or some type of goddess at some time.
Well, so it actually brings up an interesting concept, and I'm actually trying to disprove it in my mind right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, because the best way to find out the truth is to put it on the internet and listen to everybody, you know, just fire salvos at you of all this information.
See what they say.
But
no, brother Kane.
All right, so we're going to get canceled. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Rebuke it.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking about it, and every other religion, right, aside from ones based out of Christianity, like Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, all of that, they kind of follow God, Yahweh, Jehovah, you know,
a deity.
Well, no, not a deity, but that one deity, you know, the idea of God.
Okay.
So you ever notice that those are the same cultures that kept women in like these tight little boxes, because the Bible said, you know, like that's where they were supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's not even how the Bible starts out, because in Genesis, it's, you know, like Eve was created out of Adam's rib, you know, to be a companion, to be at his side. And then somehow throughout the other 65 books in the Bible, you end up at Revelation and just like, well, so a woman should walk the desert for the 7 days that she's on her menstruation, and everything she touches should be burned, and she is to be viewed as property. But then you have other sides of it that is like women are supposed to support their husbands, and husbands are supposed to take care of their wives, and that's all in Christianity, Catholicism, all of that. But when you talk about Vikings, Greek, Roman, paganism, all of that stuff, Hindu culture, South American, the Aztecs, all of those cultures revered women and had goddesses that they worshipped, and had, you know, like the Vikings, those people were very diplomatic. They believed in marriage. Women could own property. Women could vote. Women could marry.
They had shield maidens. So yeah. I mean,
so it's just, I was just thinking, I was like, equality like goes a long way in every other religion except for one of the most popular.
Oh, Miss Sasha has something to say on that.
We're gonna save it for this week and talk all night.
Right,
So
I know, like we got some things to dive into. Otherwise, this is gonna be a long live. But good question. And guys, if you think that, you know, what King has said has some merit to it, or if you disagree.
No, it has.
Yeah, if you have any other religion that, you know, does that, because I know there's so many different religions out there. There's like over 200.
Like if you guys agree with him or you disagree, you have proof, some facts.
I'm really looking to be educated, because that's just what, like, in my mind, the religions that I can go through and the Rolodex that I've got in my head. That's how.
I don't have enough information, so I can't bat you on this one. But
So it's funny that you brought that up, because I was listening to a conversation between two men, and one of the men's way of digressing what you said about woman being taken from the man's rib to be of him to serve him. The point that he had made was, how can a man how can God create a woman from a man when a woman can create, but with the aid of a man, but she can create both a man and a woman. So how true is that written in the, it's debatable.
Right. Well, and everything's up for debate. That's the thing. Right. Like all of these, we could get into a topic. I'm gonna cut it there.
See, that's why I said I was being quiet.
Cut it there. So, like, if you guys think that there's something that you can come back with on Mr. Kane here, or if you agree with him, drop it in the comments below. We will make sure that we'll bring it up in the next live. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kane, would you like to take us into the game? Because there's like a little segue there that I would love for you.
Yeah, after you just threw me under the fucking bus.
No, not at all.
I'm not trying to combat anybody. Like I said, that's just what that was just the religions that I could come up with in my mind at the time. It was just like, okay, well,
and I'm just saying there's probably going to be people that like maybe go, oh, I don't believe that because.
Okay, well, don't be mad if you find something. Let me know.
Let us know what you think.
I'm
in the
looking
comment
forward
below.
to learning.
It would make a great conversation.
He's like, don't attack me.
No,
that's not what I'm trying to get you guys to do.
Great conversation.
Oh no, I don't care if you attack me. Just don't get us canceled because of what I said. I was just like, I put the disclaimer out there for from what I can think of right now. This is the concept.
That is a very controversial topic. So, but hey, that's good. I'm glad you brought it up. Patreon.
We can do this on a Patreon live.
You're watching this, like, comment on it. You agree, you disagree, whatever. I mean, that's just one of those comments or one of those conversations that could go for a minute. So I would like our audience. That's all.
We was doing just the tip tonight. What did you talk about?
So would you like to take us into the game, Mr. Kane? I'm sorry if you felt like I threw you under the bus.
No. So we talked about some of the famous ladies in history, and we recognize and give our respect for the sacrifice and dedication that all of these women have showcased. In a small way, many of these occurrences helped shape the face of kink and BDSM into what it is today. Yes. So not trying to toot our own horn or anything or bring it back to something, we're not plugging this. It's literally everything that's happened in history has been a series of choices that have led us to where we're at today, with kink and BDSM being one of a small contribution in the grand scheme of all of it. But if you're enjoying kink and BDSM, you have a lot to thank for these women that we talked about today. And personally, this wasn't scripted or anything else because this was meant to be a surprise. In honor of Women's History Month, Chavis, that commenter that we had earlier, reminded me of something that I wanted to do, which was to thank you, Aurora and Miss Sasha, for everything that you ladies do here at Safeword, for everything that you ladies do for promoting us, getting us out there, running social media, editing videos, and doing everything else to keep this machine well oiled and running. So personally, from me, and I'm sure Remy would agree, thank you very much. So
that
for
was
making
so
Safeword what it is.
We love you, Kay. Thank you.
I'll get a little bit of emotion out this eyeball. Hold on, let me flick it over there.
Woo! Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We
appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a game tonight, and in honor of the theme of Women's History Month, each of us have looked up 3 women famous in history for something or other. They could be goddesses, icons, leaders, royalty, anything of the sort. And we're just going to throw the name out there. And the game part of it that's going to be the most fun is we're going to try and guess what they're famous for. So there's a lot of really famous women out there. A lot of these are going to be lesser known. So it's going to be fun trying to guess.
Right. Well, and I've got information, so like even if you guys don't know it, I'm gonna break it down for you. But Sasha's gonna play it a little.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
I had her take my modern day icons, and she's gonna give us lyrics, and we've got to try and figure out what that has to do with kink. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So like what kink is this person talking about?
Okay, so Kane and I have people. So can I go first? Is that okay?
Go.
Okay. The Countess of Castiglione.
She was a countess.
Did she kill people after she was done?
Yeah, like I'm thinking of like Madame Bovary.
I'll give you a hint. She's closely associated with Napoleon.
She execute the most people?
She was one of his mistresses.
You're really close with that. So basically, her name was Virginia Oldini, and she was born to like just basic nobles, right? And she was married off at 17.
Basic nobles.
Yeah, well, just noble. They're like, they weren't high end nobles; they were like at the bottom of the tier. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She was married off at 17 to a guy that was 12 years older than her, right? And what ended up happening is her cousin saw her beauty and thought, oh, political gain here. Maybe I can get her to cheat on her husband and freaking flirt with Napoleon, you know? And so she ended up doing that. And like, cause her cousin basically talked her into it. And she got on this trek of like cheating, basically. She ended up married to Napoleon for like, let me see. She became the emperor's mistress for over a year. And then men still found her enjoyable to be around and were willing to pay her for the pleasure. Okay. She continued to cheat on her husband and made a nice living from it. Eventually, word got around to the unbelievably rich, but famously stingy Lord Hertford. And he offered the Countess the original indecent proposal of 1 million francs for one night with her. Okay. There was one catch. She had to do anything he wanted. She agreed, and legend has it she couldn't sit down right for a week. So then it was just like these two avoided each other like at all costs in the same building, avoided each other at all costs to avoid the awkwardness, but it just made it more awkward trying to avoid each other. But she did this all, I mean, she cheated on her husband and like just slept around till she passed away. Like this woman was in it. She realized her
Did she die of old age?
Well, I
or
don't
did
know.
her husband murder her?
Yeah, her no, there was some kind of murder, but I don't think it was from her husband because she was no longer with Napoleon. She ended up marrying somebody else. That dude died off, and she was cheating on him the whole time. It was like a whole thing. Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah, never mind. I don't want to play this game anymore. Like, damn.
Right. Okay, so, all right, I got
in a million years, I never would have guessed that.
I got
no.
And I'm sure you recognize the name, okay? Guggenheim. But we're talking about Peggy Guggenheim.
Mm-hmm.
I know this one.
Famous for?
Voyeurism.
No.
I can't think of it right. That name sounds so familiar.
Just like the first one.
Huh?
But my brain is stuck on like 90s shows. So it's like the
Peggy
only
Bundy?
Peggy that's coming to mind is Peggy Bundy.
Yeah, no, that's not it. Okay, so Peggy Guggenheim. Do you guys want me to tell you her story?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so you might have visited one of the Guggenheim museums, right, around the world. But the guidebook won't tell you one of the patrons had a crazy sex life, okay? Peggy was married twice and had 2 children, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. When once asked how many husbands she had, she replied, "Do you mean mine or other people's?" Most biographies, yes, most biographies put the estimate around 1,000 lovers, okay, over her lifetime. Her own autobiography was called Memoirs of an Art Lover, and yet she didn't manage to mention anything about art until page 110 of a 200-page book, okay? Mostly because she had so much to say about men and sex. She was especially a fan of getting down with famous people, including most of the modern artists she discovered and the playwright Samuel Beckett. When she couldn't get men into her bed by seduction, she would try to use her money. Even as she got older, she still wanted to get laid by the hottest guys. Well into her 70s, she was hitting on men in their 20s. Unfortunately for Peggy, she wasn't as pretty as the paintings she collected, okay? Jackson Pollock said, "You would have to put a towel on her head to..." But apparently he wasn't attractive himself. So it's like, where do you get the, the gumption to fucking say some shit like this? So anyways.
I think he was salty because she wouldn't pay him.
Right, exactly. Maybe she's salty because there was shit she wasn't willing to do. She did, however, have a very large potato-shaped nose. And commenters have attributed low self-esteem about her looks, as well as her losing her father at a young age. He was on the Titanic, okay? as a reason she spread herself around so thin. You gotta love that because a woman's promiscuous, it's always because of daddy troubles. Like, what?
Why does that always have to get brought up
Right.
when mentioning someone's past? Like, does that matter?
Right. It's who made them who they are today. Those experiences.
I mean, yeah, no.
And why is that? I mean, really, why is that?
Right.
Having sexual experiences. That's what she wanted to do. That's her life. Let it be.
Right. Exactly.
So I've got another one, but I doubt you guys are gonna. Do you want me to just read you who she is?
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's Queen Zinga. Queen Zinga. No? Okay. Nzinga of Ndogo and Matamba was born in what is now known as Angola in 1583. She spent the rest of her life kicking ass and having sex. So by the time her father died in 1618, the Portuguese were slave trading their way all over Africa. Nzinga's brother took over as a leader, but he immediately gave the invaders everything they wanted. When the Portuguese started ripping people from their homes and sending them to be worked to death in Brazil, the tribe turned to Nzinga to save them. So she went and kicked ass. Needless to say, I mean, she went out there and fucking had her brother take over and like kill off everyone, basically. Okay. Then she started fighting back. This was insane since Portugal was one of the world's biggest powers, but she led her armies in guerrilla warfare and held them off for 40 years. Okay. Now, this is the part that gets interesting. She was so busy that she didn't have really any time to seek out a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So she created a giant harem of men.
So she made her own Tinder, honey. She was not playing.
She had over 300 men in her harem that she would pick from nightly. Now, here's the crazy thing. She must have had a fetish because she made all her men dress in dresses. Yeah. All her harem all had to wear dresses.
That's
so,
a very different 300 than the one I
yeah,
saw.
right.
Oh, I'm hoping the
So there's just 300
like,
dudes in dresses like sitting around in the tented room somewhere, just hoping that they're lucky number lottery winner.
So eventually it gets better. You ready for this?
Okay.
Wait, hold on. I'll let you comment.
Hold on, this gets better?
It gets better. Yes, this shit gets better. So, okay. So on top of all this, she's growing bored. She's getting older, right? She doesn't have as many battles to go and be triumphant over. So she combined two things that she loves, fighting and sex. Okay. So she would pick 2 men from her harem and they would fight to the death. And whoever won would get to sleep with her. Then the next morning he would be killed as well. So no pressure performing under those circumstances. But at some point, age catches up with us all. And at 75 years old, Nzinga decided she didn't want a harem anymore and disbanded.
Did she kill them all, or did she just send them home?
No, she just disbanded. She let go of the rest of the guys. And then she made an honest man out of one of her youngest sex slaves. And she lived another 7 years, presumably a cougar until death. Yeah, that's a freaking story right there.
Dang.
There's a harem of men, make them dress in dresses, and then you two are gonna go fight, and whoever wins gets me, and then you die in the morning.
So I'm hoping these dresses are like the warrior dresses that they
like
wore.
No, I'm thinking like colonial, I'm thinking colonial Europe with the big puffy shoulders,
because
and
that was the time. That was the time. So that yes. Mm-hmm.
Wait, so that one, the puffy shouldered, corset.
Well, like more like before that time. So this is 15 or
right.
16, 18. So I mean, it was like the slave wear that you saw, like the kind of puffy short shirts with the freaking corset over the top of it, the short sleeve shirts, and then like the big bushy skirt, but without the bustle underneath, the big frame underneath. Yeah. So that's what.
So very, very Lady Gaga. Very Lady Gaga. That's what I'm envisioning.
Dresses and then make them fight.
Just the wiring.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like a praying mantis. She would.
You shouldn't have gone first. I should have gone first, and then I should have jumped ship.
I'm getting this. That's BDSM style. She got a whole, okay, I get her.
So we're bringing it in. We're ushering it in. Women have been doing it for a long time.
Now it all makes sense. She was
hold up just for one damn second. There's a lot of dudes sitting out there going, "Oh hell no, shut up." There's I know each and every single one of you's got a chick that you would fight another dude for to the death just to have a night with. So I don't want to hear it.
And even if you know her or not, there's someone in the universe that you're like, I'd kill somebody for that bathwater. I'm sure.
I drink her bathwater. Whatever I gotta do. Yes. Okay.
Right.
You guys are all paying for Belle Delphine's bathwater. I'll bet you guys fight to the death for her. So.
And whoever else's stuff y'all paying for on OnlyFans, we ain't gonna say nothing about that.
Yeah, she's got over 13,000 followers. You really think you're gonna be lucky number one?
Right. Exactly. Right.
I hope she makes you guys fight for another dude. Fight another dude for her. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, she's not slipping on none of the simping. She's not slipping on none of the simping. My tongue.
So that's a harem of 300 dudes. So you just know, like, there's a couple of them just sitting in the back. Like, if you sit over here, she don't ever walk this way.
Well, I mean, before she decided to get bored and make them fight, she would just pick a dude every night, have her way with him, and send him back to the harem. Sounds like a pretty good life for a man.
Until they got killed or had to fight and
kill. Until they had to fight to the death for one night.
I just think
you're gonna die the next morning.
Like, there's just so much. There's so many comedic elements to this. Because you know, she had a favorite. And then that one night that she just decides, like, I want something a little bit more exciting. You know, she walked in there, looked at her favorite, and this dude was just like, all right, guys, we'll catch you later. Hey, see you in the morning. Like, right. you know what? You fight him first.
Right.
To the death. Like,
and that was your choice. That you didn't have a choice. That was what it was. You part of the fight.
It was no negotiation. Like, you had to. Like, if you got picked to fight anybody in that time, you die or you do it.
Yep.
And then you do it and then you die.
So you know that game you used to play, like, if you could talk to anybody in history, who would it be? I'm picking one of the guys in the first time that she decided to make him fight. Right. I just want to pick their brains for a minute.
Right. Well, even if you weren't the person that was being picked to be put in the ring, okay, you're part of her harem, and you're watching these, and you're like, oh shit, like I could be next week. Like, really?
You're just counting your days at that point every day. It's like it's like death row every day. Like, who would want to be in Groundhog's Day and that's your cycle? Jeez.
Yeah.
She's the lead.
I know you got some women for us. What you got? We're playing a game here.
I know. Go.
Is it a game?
It sounds like fun facts.
Is it a game?
I don't know. We've made them so hard. It's like, how are we going to remember these?
You did good though, because it was a lot of info, and it makes there was a lot of tea being spilled with those.
Yeah. I mean, I just found the stories interesting. I knew you guys probably
super interesting.
I didn't know them, So
right.
Go ahead,
all right,
Kink.
so this one comes with a big asterisk at the end of it, because what I was looking up and what I got is two completely different things. So see if you guys can guess who Elizabeth Blackwell was.
Wait, why do I know this name?
Blackwell sounds familiar, but I can't put. Was she an actress?
No, but she was the inspiration for a very popular TV show.
Oh, okay.
That your grandparents and great aunts and uncles probably watched.
Mark and Mindy, or like
older,
the
much older.
The Honeymooners.
Actually, wait, no, not older. Just seems older. Like around the same time as Little House on the Prairie and everything.
Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna know.
Three's Company?
Nope.
The Honeymooners?
So she wasn't in a TV show. She was just the inspiration for one of the shows.
Yeah, there's no way
I think I'm trying to pick the show so I can figure out what cast member, because I just can't.
Yeah.
If I told you what show would give it away, but you would never guess the show.
Okay, just tell us the show then.
Dr. Quinn.
What?
Dr. Quinn.
Oh gosh, I haven't. Oh yes, because my mom used to watch Dr. Quinn.
I remember that show.
Yeah, but it was based off of Elizabeth. That's why I know the name, but I don't know who she is. So
right.
So when I was researching, I was looking for the first female doctor. Mm-hmm. All right, and so Elizabeth Blackwell comes up as the top search result, right. But she wasn't the first. she was the first woman to hold a medical license in America.
Okay.
Which she was able to attain because she was already a doctor in Europe, in England, or well, in the UK.
Okay.
And she wasn't the only one in her class in the UK. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. First female doctor, not really, but first one recognized. But she also was one of the first women to hold a seat at at what would later become the Surgeon General.
Oh, wow.
So she was on that panel.
That's freaking awesome. Okay.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't either. So that's awesome.
But yeah, so she was one of the first American female doctors, and Dr. Quinn Medicine Women was based on the concept of a woman being a doctor, which was unheard of all the way up into the time that it was portraying.
Right.
So the next one that I got for you guys, you'll never guess, but it's going to be fun hearing you guys try.
Okay.
So it does come out of Greek mythology. And the name is Uriel.
Uriel?
Uriel.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no, I've never.
You're loud.
Yeah, you're Uriel. So she's obviously a goddess.
You're loud.
Euryale. So almost like Ariel, but Uriel.
Uriel.
Uriel. So she's obviously a goddess, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
kind of.
Kind of.
Very close association with one that we talked about tonight.
Hera?
Other one.
She's Greek, right? Tonight, I don't know. Aphrodite. So she's close to Aphrodite somehow.
You pissed her off. And I think there's only one woman that ever pissed off Aphrodite.
The only thing I can think of is Medusa. I was like, because that's the only person that pissed off Aphrodite, because she said she was prettier, or Zeus said she was prettier than Aphrodite or something like that.
Medusa was actually the name that was given to her after Aphrodite cursed her.
Oh, okay. So that was
her original form, her original humanity, she was known as Uriel, and she had an affair with Poseidon, which pissed off Aphrodite and caused her to curse her to be one of the most hideous creatures that men could not bear to see.
Okay.
Switch it on.
So she became Medusa.
Nice.
And this one was really fun. Again, you're never going to guess this in a million years, but it's going to be fun to hear you try. So if you don't recognize the first name, maybe you'll recognize her by her, I don't know if it's her maiden name or just her God-given name, but she was Louise Lears or Louise Crocco.
No, I've never even heard of that name.
You guys just want to take a guess? She was the first female something.
First female
explorer.
Yeah, I'm like explorer. First female.
Yeah, I thought
traveler.
Explorer.
Traveler.
Because I like thinking constant.
Kind of like really close. I mean, like traveling was definitely a part of it.
Voyager. I don't know.
Would you say a manager?
A Voyager.
Oh, Voyager. Yeah,
that's synonyms for travel.
Yeah, I wanted to Google the first female manager.
I didn't.
And I found an article from like 2002.
I don't know. She was an area manager in that time.
Gosh dang it.
She was the first area manager.
She was a performer.
She was a performer.
So traveling was a part of it.
So was she a singer? She was a songwriter?
No, a little bit more badass.
What's more badass?
Think circus.
Contortionist?
No. Trapeze artist?
She was an acrobat, but she was most known for something else.
Tightrope?
Nope. You guys are getting really close, but just think of other things at the circus.
A swingy thing
or at the freak show.
The bearded lady?
No.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
You guys are getting so close.
Is it a sideshow, like an attraction because of how she looked or something about her?
Yeah, just tell us.
Definitely. She was the first strong woman.
Oh, that's pretty freaking cool.
So, and if you Google her, Louise Lears, first strong woman, and she was also an acrobat. So That's why I said, that she was in there.
That's freaking cool.
But if you see pictures of her, she is absolutely yoked. Like, she was a strong woman.
Wow. That's
like wider shoulders and back than me. So I want to know her workout plan.
So guys, join our Patreon because I'm going to put up some pictures of these women so that we have some,
references.
Our March, references for our March, our Women's History in March. So it'll be up for season 2, but so that you guys can have some reference points on who some of these people are. If you watched our video last week, there were some references in that, but we touched on a lot of other women today that weren't in that video. So yeah. All right.
Now we take it over to Sasha for Name That Tune.
Name that tune. Name that kinky tune.
Right. So, as we were talking about different women's and icons, women and icons in all facets of life. One icon that we all look up to is Miss Beyonce, Queen Beyonce. And she's an icon who very much so has an elusive, charismatic quality to herself. And the way she presents herself is a lot different than she sings about or whatever ultra fantastic ego and sexual being she turns into. Right. So I've compiled a couple songs and some lyrics, and what everyone's going to do is kind of figure out what is she alluding to in some of these lyrics and what song. Let's see what songs these are too.
Yeah.
So
just read them, just read them straight out.
Oh yes, I'm straight reading. We're not singing anything. Below, can you lick my Skittles? Those sweetest in the middle. Pink is the flavor. Soft in the middle.
She talking about that clamshell.
Right, yeah.
Chowing down at the Y.
Right.
Chowing down at the Y, exactly.
That's far from vanilla. Do we know what song that is? Can anyone guess? We're talking about Skittles. Below, can you lick my Skittles?
Yo, if you guys know what this song is, comment below. Because we're delayed. Maybe we should give them a second because I ain't gonna get this.
Can you lick my Skittles?
That's not exactly in my playlist.
In the middle, pink is the flavor. Soft.
Although I think I might add it to it.
It's like a.
Oh, I could be such an asshole right now.
What sound?
Is it in Halo?
Anything.
Halo?
No.
It's not Halo.
No.
I don't and that concludes my knowledge of Beyonce's music.
You knew something, so.
To the left? Or what's that one?
To the left?
No, there's that's like Get Out. That's by.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it, and I know as soon as you say it.
So it's a song called Below.
I don't think maybe I haven't heard that song.
See, this is one that challenged me, but I'm like, okay, I've never heard that line. But if you guys have heard Skittles, please comment down below. Drop some Skittles. Drop some candy down there. Okay.
Negative. Do not put sugar in there. You will regret it.
No, in the comments, not down there. So,
Okay, you got to stop because there's a lot of people who don't know and are going to go to, Miss Sasha told me to just put a bunch of these Skittles in here.
Acting up in front of company. Okay, so you guys should probably get this one. So
Kim Bob's just wondering if he needs a funnel.
Handprints and footprints on the glass. Handprints and good grips on my ass.
I don't know. I think I just want you to read that again.
Writing it on top. Is that what
everybody wants you to read that again? Remy, if he's watching, wants you to read that and slow.
It's in the car. She's doing some nasties in the car.
Handprints and footprints on my glass. Handprints and good grips on my ass.
She's doing that Titanic. What? They got down in the car in Titanic. What the hell?
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Like that's a Titanic. I'm gonna need you to stop trying to act like you got bars right now. You're doing that Titanic. Okay. Oh, okay. You got bars though.
That was cute. They doing that Titanic. Now everybody
gonna use
hashtag Titanic.
Don't take the line either. We gonna put it in a song. Okay, so handprints and footprints on my glass. Handprints.
But it's in the car, yes? That's what.
Yes, it's in the car.
Okay. All right. So now we're trying.
So it's in the car. So what is that a form of?
Public voyeurism. Like,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
What song?
I don't know.
Halo?
I don't know what song. Partitioner, driver of the partition, please.
Okay, yep.
Well, daddy. Okay, we won't go there. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the video, but it was on mute, so I think that kind of counts.
Kane's our rocker.
I was there for the visuals.
So, like, if you were to bring up some rock lyrics, he'd be all over it. But
there's plenty. You're gonna have to when we get into the next topic, you're gonna find some metal songs that talk about sadomasochism and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Coincidentally, 2 of them feature Marilyn Manson.
We can have a whole conversation. We're gonna take that one to Patreon channel so we can talk and say what we want to say. Because I've been following that situation.
And Mr. Roy, we do have a Patreon, and I've told you, I don't know how many. Season 2, boo-boo. We're still in season 1. Season 2, boo-boo. We still in season 1. Okay, just had to get that off my chest.
I done told you too. Okay, so
I'm sorry, Roy stayed on for all of this?
I know, right?
He loves us. He our A1 since day one. Okay, so surfboard, granted on that good. Great. Oh, well, I couldn't. Okay, well.
Yeah, you just. I think everybody knows what that one is.
I couldn't help.
Halo.
But what? But Halo.
Shut up. Phil, you just fired. Please, Beehive, drop sound off below. Let's go educate Brother King. We're gonna tag him in some things.
Right,
at Mr. K. Marcos.
Video, please. Let him get up on his Beehive stuff.
Tag him in some Beyonce. We will educate this man.
I'm just gonna get like so many Amazon like playlists of the discography.
Halo? Clearly just Halo.
All the way back to Destiny's Child. Watch.
Here, watch.
And they're all not named Halo. So.
Kate is going to be known now for the feather and Halo.
He's just so godly with all these angelic accessories he has.
Feathers and halos. And he's on red.
Right, exactly. Let's not get him. So Halo is your guess. What you think?
I don't know the name of the song, but I could sing it.
Drunken Love.
Yeah.
We all love. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the song. Okay, so last one. So let me sit this ass on you. Show you how it feel. Let me take it off for you. Will you watch me? Yes, mass appeal. Don't take your eyes off me. Don't take your eyes off it. Watch it, babe.
Strip teasing.
Yes.
Yes.
This strip tease, very much so. Now, what song?
I can see the music video in my head. It's that black and white one.
Mm-hmm.
Just to venture a guess, does she have a song called Striptease?
No. Maybe. I don't know. This ain't it though.
This ain't it though. What's the name of the song? I'm not gonna come over. And you know Kane.
This one ain't it if it is.
Kane's gonna say Halo.
Halo.
I ventured a different guess.
What?
I asked if there's a song called Striptease.
Oh no. And if it is, it's not this one.
Okay, well then Halo? What the damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Yes, it's Halo. You win.
Is it? Ding. No, it's Rocket.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight on Safeword. Next March, I won't be here.
We love you. You've been so supportive of us. You've been so supportive. You better not. You ain't gonna leave us.
I'm gonna have COVID-21 on March 3rd, 2022.
Oh, don't play like that.
Whatever.
What was the name of the song?
The song is called Rockets.
Rocking.
Let me sit this ass on ya. Just drop B's down below if you know what I'm talking about. If y'all know any of these songs, please just drop B's below.
Well, I knew the songs. I just don't know title names.
Right. And drop your favorite kinky song or artist and let us know so we can we could shout this out in the next comment. We'll shout out y'all kinky songs y'all want.
Find me something off the wall. All right, that has kinky connotation in the lyrics, not us, for our viewers.
I started thinking, I was like, huh?
Yeah, I know. I saw you. I was like, not us, them. And drop it below.
Okay. Y'all do what she said, please, because she gonna whoop us if you don't. So please.
I know, right?
Yeah, where do you think Remy is tonight?
She beats it. No, I'm kidding. She don't beat us. We are here. It's consensual. We're here.
Consensual non-consent. I'm just saying.
My collar's over there. No, I'm just kidding. She
All
said
right.
I could take it off.
That's our game. And that's all we have tonight. Kate, would you like to take us out since we're just chatting now?
Thank you for joining us for Safeword and our game, I think. So, everybody, we enjoyed having you guys on tonight. We hope that we enlightened everybody, opened up some broader views on women and the history and everything else that they've contributed to our society nowadays. Once again, I like to thank Miss Aurora Storm and Miss Sasha Lencher, not just tonight, but for every night that you guys put into this. So they're the ones who keep bringing you this content. I just show up here. From all of us here at Safeword, we love you, we thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us next week, and we will see you then.